Hey guys, Keilan here. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. And if you are a returning subscriber, thanks for coming back to see me. Today, I'm going to be doing my mom's hair and makeup today. She is going to a ball this evening and she always likes for me to do her hair and makeup. I'm not a professional or anything, but it's something fun to do. So if you'd like to see the end results of what I'm going to be doing, then keep on watching. So first we're going to start with makeup. I'm going to start with her primer and foundation. I'm just going to be using the Hangover Replenishing Face Primer, and I'm mixing that with Keilan. This was a sample that I got a long time ago, but what it is a primer that has SPF 15 and it has a natural glow in it. And I'm going to be mixing these two together because I really love this primer. It's got coconut water in it and it's got probiotic based ingredients and overall a skin reviver, and it's silicone free. So I really like this one. It has like a really nice refreshing feeling when you put it on. But I'm mixing it with this because I wanted to give my mom a overall kind of a natural glow, and I figured with starting with the base it will seem as if it's coming from the inside out. So we're going to mix these two primers together and start with her base and then build it on up. Okay, so I don't know if you can see now, but there is kind of a natural glow already just by using those two primers. But now we're going to take the Tarte Colored Clay CC Primer. We're going to use this actually as a foundation instead of a typical foundation. My mom doesn't really like to wear foundation, so we're going to use something really light, but it still has color to it. So we're going to use this today for her foundation. Okay, so at first I thought that the Tarte would be enough, but I actually am going to add just a little bit more of a foundation. This is the e.l.f. Moisturizing Foundation Stick in the color Caramel that I'm going to add on top of that just to give a little more coverage, but still not as heavy as a regular foundation. Just kind of stamping it on there because I'm not trying to apply a lot, just want to add just a little more coverage to her. Really great skin, so it's not really much that we're having to cover up. So we're already done with like the foundation part, but now we're going to conceal and contour. Definitely not something really heavy, but just a little bit to bring some dimension to the face. So we're going to use the NARS Creamy or Radiant Creamy, I can never say the name, but it's the NARS Creamy Concealer, and this is in the color Custard. And then I'm going to be contouring with another e.l.f. Moisturizing Foundation Stick, but this is in the color Coffee. And I'm going to be taking this to contour just to warm up the face because it has more of a reddish tone to it. So nothing very heavily contoured, but just to warm up the face. And we're going to be working with one eye at a time because this stuff dries really fast. So. contoured and highlighted up, so now we're going to start setting everything. And to set everything, I'm going to be using my BH Cosmetic powder, which I will show you here in just a second. But just to set everything and to start, I'm going to actually go in with a different powder to go on top of that cream contour that we applied, or the cream foundation that we applied for contouring. But yep, just wanted to update you what we're going to be moving on next to. So I'm going to be taking this BH Cosmetics Contour and Blush 2 palette by BH Cosmetics, and I'm just going to be taking this top shade here, which is a closer to her shade. First, before I do that, I'm actually going to set her under eye. I'll be setting her under eye with Laura Mercier's powder. This is just the regular one, the translucent one. I'm going to be setting the places that I applied highlighter to. Alright, so I applied the translucent powder, and we're just going to let that sit for just a second while I go around it with the BH Cosmetic powder. Just so it can kind of bake and keep her, you know, intact the rest of the night. I'm also going to be contouring or warming up her face even more on top of the cream contour that I already applied. I'm going to be using this BH Cosmetics contour palette. This is just a powder that I'm going to be using to just warm it up even more to go on top of that cream contour. I'm going to be taking this shade here. Has her contour and her powder all on, and I'm going to be adding her blush on, which is going to be another palette by BH Cosmetics, and this one is their 10 color blush palette, and I'm just going to be taking more of the bronzier tones in this palette and mixing them and creating that perfect cheek color. So I'm going to be taking this color here and mixing it a little bit with this darker color, just a little bit. So now I did one eyebrow, but we're gonna move on to this eyebrow. I'm going to be using the NYX Micro Brow Pencil, and this is in the color Ash Brown. So I'm gonna be using this on this brow. So I didn't get to record the part where I did her eyebrows, but because I'm going to be standing in front of her, so I can't record it. But to kind of clean up the eyebrow, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Complete Coverage Concealer and using the lightest shade to clean that up. Okay, so our eyebrows are done. Now we're just going to work on the eyes. I'm going to do one eye off camera, and then I will come back and do the other eye and show you guys how I do it. But I'm going to be using that same e.l.f. concealer that I used to clean up under her eyebrow. I'm going to be using it to also act as a primer for her eyelids. So I'm going to do one eye, and I'll be back to show you the next. So we did this eye here, and now we're going to be moving on to the other eye. I'll be using these three colors here, as well as black and a transition color. So for a transition color, I'm going to be taking this color here. This is the color Wit in the Stila palette. This is the Mind palette. The Eyes Are the Windows to the Soul palette. I'm going to be taking this transition color and just working it along her eye. Then I'm going to be taking this black shade here, which is the color Brilliant, and I'm just going to start that all over her lid and work it up to the crease, kind of just working it up there. So this is just going to act as the base for the blue that we're going to be putting on top of it. And then I'm going to be taking my Juvia's Place palette. This is the Masquerade Mini Juvia's Place palette. And I'm going to be taking the shade Dahlia. Here is this dark blue. And we're going to be placing this on the lid on top of that black. And we're going to be moving on to Molly. And just working it up into the crease so it's not super harsh. And on top of that, we're going to also add Zola. I'm really heavily focusing on the lid, and then even though it's harsher right here, we're going to blend that out. And for her inner corners and highlight, I'm going to be using the color Gisa, but of course using a different brush. I'm going to go back into this transition color from the Stila palette and going in with the color Wit, just to blend this area out. So underneath her lid, under here, we're going to go back into Dahlia and smoke it out. And then we're going to go back into Molly and just go on top of Dahlia and continue to smoke it out. And then, like I said, I went in with Gisa and highlighted her inner corners. Also highlighted her brow bone with it as well. To line her eyes, I'm going to be using this e.l.f. liquid eyeliner in the color black. And then I'm also going to be using this random lip and eye pencil that I have. It's like a really pretty copper color that I'm going to be using to line her inner rim. So we're going to start with the inner rim first and just line that. It adds a nice contrast, and I really think it makes the blue pop. So now we're going to do the top and do a slight wing to it as well. To finish up her eyes, we're going to be taking this mascara, this Marc Jacobs mascara in the color Noir, and finishing up her eyes. Alright, so we completed everything else. Now what's left is just highlighter. I'm going to be taking the Carly Bibo, I think that's how you say her last name. I'm going to be taking this light shade. Actually, I'm going to be taking this third shade in the first palette that she had. I'm going to be taking this shade to highlight her face. I'm going to take a fan brush and just get some of that. Kind of bring it into the cheek area a little bit up here, and then do this again on this side, kind of like a V. And then a little bit to the nose. Actually, we'll go down. Bring highlight there. And then to the Cupid's bow. And that's it. Last is going to be her lips, and we're just going to be taking this brown liner by Wet n Wild and these two products from XOXO. This is the White Russian lip gloss, and this is the lipstick. I believe it might be the, oh, this is the color Sydney that we're going to be taking. So first I'm going to line her lips with just the brown liner. This is a really dark brown. I'm going to be taking the Sydney lipstick and going on top of that. And then to finish this off, we're just going to top it with the White Russian lip gloss by XOXO. So I wanted to go with a lighter lip since her eyes were so heavy. I just wanted to go with a lighter lip just to really focus on the blue on the eyes because that matches her dress. So now it's time to move on to her hair and finish her up because we're running out of time. So I've already kind of curled underneath, if you can see. I've already curled some pieces already, but I wanted to show you guys how I curl my mom's hair and make the curl last, because the last time she had a ball, she said it lasted all night. So I wanted to show you guys how I curl my mom's hair and how I made it last. So I start by sectioning it off, and then I take a small piece and just turn your head like this. This is fine, and this is blow dried. Her hair is blow dried out. It's not straightened or anything. It's just blow dried, and I prefer it this way because when you straighten your hair first, it like trains your hair to just stay straight. So your curls are not gonna last as long. But if you just blow dry it out and give it some time, you know, just to cool it down and everything, when you go back into it, it's just blow dried. So typically with like curly hair, you would blow dry your hair, straighten it, and then do whatever you want to do with it. But by keeping it in this blow dried state, it's going to help the curls last longer. So I take a piece like this, and then I take my straightener. This is a cheese straightener on temperature 410. There's some heat protectant already in her hair, but it is pretty high temperature, but our hair tends to do okay with it. So what I do is I put my piece in there, I wrap it, and then you just pull it on down, and it creates a curl. So we'll do that again. So we'll take your straightener, put the piece in there, go down a little bit, take the rest of the hair, wrap it around, and twist your straightener so where it meets like this, and then just pull it on down. And that creates your curl. So we'll continue on. Take a little smaller piece this time. So now you see the technique of how I do it. I just wanted to show you guys this how I did it, but I'm gonna finish up her curling it, and then we'll come back so you can see how I'm gonna style it. So her hair is all curled, and now we're gonna style it the way she wanted me to style it. So I'm gonna turn her around. First with one braid and see how it will look, and then see if we need to add another one. We're going to be putting these pretty little diamond bobby pins in her hair. So to lay down her edges right here, we're going to take the ORS Edge Control Hair Gel. This is the olive oil one, and I'm going to take a toothbrush, good old faithful toothbrush, and lay those edges down. I'll turn her around so you can kind of see here. Just took the braid back and I added a bobby pin there, and then just took the braid back and I'm gonna add another bobby pin here. Kind of lay this piece of hair down. That. So these curls should last for a while. Alright, so to make sure that that is in place, we're going to also take this light sponge and just sponge around, make sure that her setting spray is really in there. Make sure it won't transfer.